I can guarantee that at least 30% of you in this room are in crippling debt, especially the students. See, I'm not talking about monetary dues, but a deficit in something more accessible and perhaps more crucial: sleep. Sleep debt is an idea that reflects the amount of sleep loss over the amount you need and accumulates over time. The term was first coined in 1963 by physiologist Nathaniel Kleitman, who proposed that sleep debt can be liquidated by increasing the time of recovery sleep. Yet, how accurate is this, and why is it so important to pay off your sleep debt before it's too late? My Google spiral in this topic actually began with an experiment in 8th grade. It was a research study that looked at the effect of light stimulus on the sleep-wake cycles of crickets. Ironically enough, I would soon become the biggest case study in terms of altered sleep patterns. See, I'm also not alone. Like approximately 70% of adolescents across the US, I was averaging less than the minimum value of 8 hours of sleep a night, in a growing phenomenon that has been referred to some as a sleep epidemic. Not only that, but I've made something of a reputation as that one kid who used to stay up and still managed to do well in school. The cost, though? Everything. As reported by many teenagers, it becomes a cycle, starting with the academic, extracurricular, or occupational push that brings about the late night, the stress, anxiety, reduced performance, or tiredness of the next day, and the overcompensation as more responsibilities pile up and you're still half asleep, leading to more procrastination and another sleepless night or two. For many, this is made worse with neurotic responses and only cycles over time. Sleep debt in teenagers is actually not too surprising if we consider a hormonal shift in sleep-wake cycles, a release of melatonin at later times, increased device usage, and the learning curve that so many of us face with trying to balance responsibilities amid time constraints. For some, this is made even worse by the use of caffeine or substances. Now, Celsius addicts, where y'all at? Jokes aside, this can yield in very real long-term effects, such as mental health issues, problems with emotion regulation, and even sleep-wake disorders. Now, not too long ago, I was averaging maybe 5 hours of sleep a night. If we use the baseline of 8 hours, this leads to 21 hours of sleep debt after a week alone. And unlike monetary debt, sleep debt can't be paid back all at once or even hour by hour, but rather by gradually increasing the amount of time you spend sleeping, one night at a time. Regardless, just like sleep debt is cumulative, so are healthy, balanced sleeping habits that can not only pay off lingering debt, but make the time you spend awake a lot more worthwhile. So, to summarize for all our half-asleep attention spans, sleep is important, while not getting enough that you need only adds up. For young people especially, it's something we need to work on prioritizing before it's too late, when sleep deprivation can start having a real toll on the quality of our lives. I, for one, despite what my parents thought, was very much aware of how this was impacting my own life, from reduced performance, from physical performance to academic. In addition to this, if you're consistently staying up every night, it only becomes harder and harder to regulate and restore your sleep schedule. Or it may even come to the point where there's not really one to restore anymore. This is why it's so important to prioritize sleep regularly. And ultimately, your habits for one night can neither make nor break your sleep cycle. According to Jeffrey Grossman of an MIT study looking at sleep habits and college scores, it's really the sleep you get when learning is happening that matter the most. And while this applies to us differently, since we all have different needs, different schedules, and ultimately different biological clocks that may even make it easier to function during night, arguably, the answer on how to repay your sleep debt comes to finding what works for you and doubling down on something both attainable and consistent. So, for now, tonight, try going to bed a little earlier. And who knows, maybe even hit that snooze button in the morning. After all, you owe it to yourself at the very least. Thank you.